All right, y'all. So today is August 24th, aka 8/24, aka basically International Kobe Bryant Day. And so because of that, this entire episode is not only going to be dedicated to Kobe, but all the conversations that we're going to have is just to pretty much honor his legacy and kind of what he meant to the entire game of basketball. Me personally, growing up a big Kobe fan, and I'm sure you were too, Ahmad, but off rip, man, I would just, ask you kind of what did Kobe mean to you, when it comes to the overall game, not just accomplishments, but just the game itself.
Yeah, Kobe, I wasn't like yourself, a diehard Kobe Bryant fan growing up, but I still loved and respect him because I'm a basketball fan first, but I wasn't like a diehard stan or anything like that. But Kobe Bryant, what he meant to me is kind of like, I kind of tried to polish my game after him. I tried to take things from his game, his competitiveness, the trash talking, his ability to operate at the second level on the basketball court, the fadeaways. And if you know me and if you've seen me play, that's all from Kobe. So that's the biggest thing, like going at home after practice, watching YouTubes, watching film on Kobe. I did that. So that was the biggest takeaway from kind of like my overall, like what Kobe meant to me in my lifetime, just trying to model my game after his greatness.
Yeah, and I would say for me, it would be mentality. I think my mentality is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? You think about how people kind of live their overall lives, not even just in basketball or sport, but just being fearless, right? Being a competitor, waking up every single day with that fire and, the will to kind of attack the day, win, anything that happened yesterday, regardless of what's happening. Because I think one thing with Kobe was like you could put 4 random players out there and he was still going to hoop. You know what I'm saying? And having that and understand like, yo, sometimes it doesn't matter what else is going on around you. You just got to handle your business and what's in front of you. But I mean, you brought up a good point too in terms of like the actual, basketball part of his game, the midi and being able to score at a high level. But I would say defensively too, right? Like, when we talk about on ball defense, I mean, Kobe was definitely up there. So, obviously people will talk about the scoring, which you definitely should. And also another person that was great at the midi. Like when we mentioned the, DeMar DeRozan of the worlds and Kobe disciples, but Kobe's midi was definitely up there with some of the greatest, man, for real.
Yeah, if not the greatest, when you just look at his ability to have counter moves on counter moves, not just one counter move or 2 counter moves, but 3 counter moves. It was just he was a true artist on the basketball court. And what I appreciate from Kobe Bryant is just like he was very calculated as well. Like everything was calculated to a T when we talk about like his spots, his spots on the basketball court, understanding angles, understanding how to draw fouls. Just a very, very, very smart basketball player who kind of thrive on competition. We're never going to see a Kobe Bryant when we talk about like a player that just like loves to compete no matter what. Win or lose, no matter if he down 40, no matter if he up 40, like this guy loves to compete. And that's, if you're a young player or if you're just a normal person in life, just working hard and trying to make a career, loving to compete and loving what you do and loving to get better each and every day and loving that journey to whatever you're trying to become, you can all take that from the Black Mamba himself. So that's why Kobe will always be so special.
Yeah, because I mean, you hit it right there, man. It was more than just talent for Kobe. It was the the competitive nature that he had to really win at any cost. And I think over the course of his career, people kind of changed their views a little bit, kind of with certain things happening. But I think, as we all know, the reason for that was because he wanted to win. Now, to me, it was just passion, right? When you really care about something, sometimes the way you act might be misinterpreted, but right or wrong, Kobe definitely had one goal in mind. You know what I'm saying? And that to me, that's why when I hear, like, I guess some comparisons sometimes it's just players of like being a certain, like another current player, like potentially, it's like I get it from a talent perspective and
skill
and all that. But like, I mean, like I said, you said it perfectly. There won't be another Kobe just because of the mental standpoint, right? Just,
Yeah.
I know Mike, obviously he was crazy too and wanted to win, but Kobe, because we grew up on him, I think it hits a little differently to know that, like, yo, this was a dude that didn't give a damn about anything else when it came to the basketball court.
Yeah,
Let's win. Let's win.
Similar to Allen Iverson as well. Like, these guys were just competitive, just so competitive. It was just like they brought a different mentality, that old school basketball. And it's kind of like you said, we grew up kind of just idolizing like his competitive nature. So it's like it's never going to be another Kobe. It's even hard to kind of even have this episode because of what Kobe Bryant meant to the game so much. And that's why I always say, like, he's the only player in the history of the game that had 2 basketball lives. You look at people going to talk about, oh, he just switched his jersey. But no, it was more than just him switching his jersey. Like, the first few years of him being in the league where he had the number jersey 8, he was kind of trying to be like Michael, being Michael Jordan's heir apparent to success in the NBA. But he did that. And then he did all that. And then he went to number 24 and he came, the Black Mamba himself, became the GOAT of skill, the most skilled basketball player to ever play the game, a competitive, a winner. Yeah, it's just like it's never going to be another Kobe Bryant. And how many? It's like I said, how many guys can we really just look at the history of his career and be like, yo, he had 2 Hall of Fame careers, and it's just kind of like he did it one way by trying to be the next Michael Jordan. It's like he gave us that. He didn't have to do that. He gave us that, like being number 8, trying to be the next Michael Jordan. Then he's like, you know what? Let me show you myself. Let me show you the Black Mamba. I'm gonna be 24. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna be like, you're gonna remember me being Kobe. He even talked about it like 8 was special, but 24 was even more special because probably he was giving us him and not trying to be somebody else.
Yeah. And the thing is, too, about having the 2 Hall of Fame careers, he had 2 Hall of Fame careers with the same team.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, the idea that, like, he played his entire season with the Lakers, and obviously we know what LA meant to him and vice versa, but to know that, like, he didn't run. Like, his chips came with one organization, and, I think LA definitely embraced him. Obviously being a kid that came straight from high school into the league, I know that's probably one of the biggest trades that ever really happened, but, to know that a kid could go to LA and thrive and succeed and play at a high level straight out of high school, and then we talk about all the accomplishments that followed thereafter. There really won't be another Kobe. But if you had to choose one to transition, I guess, a little bit to talk about his achievements and what he really, really did outside of skill, maybe, if out of all his accomplishments, which one to you stands out the most? And it could be like if it was a single game, you remember. But if you had to choose just one moment.
One moment, I think 2016, his last game when he dropped 60, I literally had tears in my eyes watching him play at the end. And this was, like I said, I wasn't a diehard Kobe fan. You know what I'm saying? I love Kobe because of everything he brought to the game of basketball. But, like, I have some real, like, diehard, like, Kobe Bryant fans. You know what I'm saying? But I had tears in my eyes because it was just like, yo, this guy dropping 60, last game never playing the NBA. This entire 2015, 2016 season, he was hurt. Just a guy that was just really out there just trying to give fans a show in his last season and to go out and dropping 60. And it's just like, yo, I was sitting in my house. I was like, damn, like, this guy is a true GOAT. He's one of the GOATs. Like, he's one of the guys that's like, his game is going to transcend time forever, no matter what. And it's just kind of like, that's why I always laugh when people talk about, Kobe's not a top 5 player of all time. And even, and I always say, like, even if you think Kobe Bryant's a top 5 player of all time, that's cool. If you don't think he's not a top 5 player of all time, I really can't have a basketball conversation with you. But to be honest, like, even top 5 is kind of a slight to Kobe and his greatness. Like, Kobe is a true GOAT, top 3 player of all time. And I look at, like, when you look at the GOATs, to me, it's always, I say this, I've always said this, it's got Michael, you got Kobe, and then, of course, you got, who, the king. So he's special. It's just like he's never going to be another Kobe Bryant. I know I already said that before, but in this episode, but it's just a flat out truth.
Yeah, I mean, to me, man, it's okay to kind of say, especially on this episode, with it being dedicated to Kobe, but it just really puts into perspective. Because again, it's always unfortunate when people realize things a little too late. I think we're kind of experiencing that, and experiencing that with LeBron, just from a purely basketball standpoint. Like, you got a brother that went to like what eight straight finals.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's still playing at a high level, pushing 37 or whatever it is. It's like, this isn't normal, right? Like, it's very important to live in the moment, because you know that players aren't going to play forever, and people aren't going to be around forever. And so when you have the opportunity to really like, this is some amazing stuff. Whether you hate a player or love a player, whatever, if you're a fan of the game. Right? Save all the analytics talk, save all the, who's better or whatnot, whatever. But don't forget to enjoy what you're seeing, because they're artists, right? They're artists at their crafts. So it's like, appreciate this shit, because you don't get to see it often. And eventually, to LeBron's case, I mean, it's not a secret. I've had to guess he's probably gonna retire pretty soon. So, as we get closer and closer to that, just make sure y'all understand that, like, that dominance, we may not really see that again for a good little while. As we touched on pretty much other episodes, like, there's no player that I feel is like, this is my league and everybody else is somewhere else. You feel me? So because that's the case, man, just be thankful for what we're seeing from LeBron. And obviously we mentioned Kobe and Mike, but man, just
that's true. That's what I'm saying. These guys, true GOATs, they're three-headed monsters, like Michael Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. And it's kind of like, we've been blessed to kind of witness Kobe and LeBron. And our parents have been blessed, and the older folks have been blessed to witness all three. So they should even have a greater appreciation than us, what I'm saying? Because they got to see Michael Jordan in real time. And then let me tell you about, like, Michael Jordan. The only game I remember Michael Jordan as a kid, like in his prime with the Bulls, not even necessarily his prime, but in the Bulls, was him hitting the game-winning shot in Game 6 in Utah. That's the only game I remember watching with my mom. Talk about greatness, you know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, all these guys have their defining legacy moments. That probably was Michael Jordan. That 60-point, going out party for Kobe Bryant was probably his. And then if you look at LeBron, he's probably going to have one as well. And it's just, it's special. And like you said, just got to appreciate the game, appreciate and love basketball for what it is.
Yeah, Kobe's 60-point game was a very, very emotional one, man. I think that's one of moments where you can say, like, I definitely remember where I was. Because what's crazy about that night, too, wasn't that the same night Warriors.
And nobody was watching. Everybody was watching.
Nobody
was watching. Nobody was watching.
And that just lets you know kind of, Kobe's impact. Because, hell, I mean, honestly, that's another thing that might not ever happen again, to be honest. To go 73-9. But even still, people are like, no. I'm watching the last game,
Yeah. Nobody really cared about that. And
if I remember correctly, that game, one, not only did the Lakers win, not only did Kobe, score 60, but I think that eliminated Utah out of playoff contention. Yeah. And even that, it's just like, that's a perfect Kobe story, because, like, even when you might think, all right, this is last game, you know what I'm saying? He might score a few points, whatever, but, if the Lakers are struggling, they're going to lose. No, not that. That's not how, he was going out. Like, that final game was one that's like, and I think, obviously, if you're part of the Utah Jazz team, you obviously want to win the game. But I think that's, a time where you just take it on the chin and say, you know what, that's Kobe. You feel me?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what his career was.
Yeah. And Kobe, like you said, Kobe was just a true artist. And his brain on the basketball court, and just brain in general, and just overall knowledge, he spoke 5-6 different languages. And then what you can appreciate Kobe is kind of like his brain was as elevated as his body. And it's just kind of like he thrived off of competition, but it was a guy that, like, put his body to the ultimate level. A guy that talked about in his book, if you read his book, he said that he wanted to strengthen his ankles because his ankles were getting tight during the regular season. So he took up ballet in the summer. This guy was a psycho. This guy was a true, like, competitor. How many guys can you sit up and say, like, like, my ankles are weak, I'm gonna take a ballet, and that's gonna help me improve my footwork, and that's gonna make me even more skilled, and that's gonna make me have even more counters on counters on counters on counters. When we talk about like, okay, they got me, they didn't bite on the first pump fake, but let me do a spin. They didn't bite on the second pump fake, but let me do another spin and get the shot off. He was phenomenal. It's just like his game was so pure. And then you said, like, you talk about defensively as well. People don't even talk about that side of the basketball. He was one of the greatest perimeter defenders in the history of the game. And that just shows because I always say this, defense is 90% effort and 10% skill. So you got to actually want to play defense. And Kobe was a guy that was so competitive that, you know what, not only did he want to go bust your ass on the offensive side of the court and drop 40, drop 50, drop 60, he also wanted to guard the best defender on the opposing side of the basketball court. That just shows you how even more special he was.
Yeah, and heavy on the want to. Right?
Yeah.
Like he embraced the like, yo, who's the best player on the court? All right, point him out, and I'm gonna guard him.
Yeah.
Very simple. And I mean, too, another thing, Olympics, right? USA, Kobe, what he did kind of overseas and international play was that's another thing that he kind of has on his resume. It's just sad isn't even a strong enough word here, but to know that we weren't able to really see him truly enter the hall, I think the way we all would like. And you just kind of know how special that would have been for him and his family. But kind of thinking of everything that he did to kind of get to that point. And again, staying with one franchise and having the impact that he had on the game, players, and obviously Devin Booker being one of those guys, and seeing what he did to lead his team to the finals. It's like it's moments like those that make you really appreciate what Kobe did again for the long-term effects of the game.
And it's crazy, and it's not even just. It's crazy because I got a video, and I probably can send it to you. I don't know if we can get this in the podcast or whatever, but today, I was in one of my athletic classes, and I was asking. They were fourth graders. I was asking them, like, who's your favorite player? And I kept naming players, because I'm naming current players. Like, they in fourth grade, and I'm thinking, like, all right, Generation Z kids or whatever below Generation Z. I'm thinking they're going to say, like, Stephen Curry, and I'm throwing out, like, Luka Doncic. I'm throwing out all these LeBron James. And they were like, They was like, And then I was like, what about Kobe? And they said, Kobe. I was like, what? I said, who y'all favorite player? And most of them, they said, Kobe. They kept saying, Kobe. I'm like, yo, this is insane. Like, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like 7, 8-year-olds screaming, Kobe? Yeah, as their favorite player. And they don't even know, they weren't even alive when Kobe was going crazy. That just shows you that, like, yo, his legacy and his overall aura is going to last forever.
Yeah. And I mean, you can just tell too. I mean, even with that story, just like when it comes to like the youth and just overall development, because fortunately, obviously, the world has YouTube. You can watch highlights. But the thing is, with Kobe, you can really learn about the game through his overall skill and just talent. And when we talk about the footwork, the midi, all that, because again, he took, attention to, or he paid attention to detail with every step. You know what I mean? Like everything that he did, there was a point behind it. There was a purpose behind it. So that's crazy to hear, man, that, fourth graders were legit. Because honestly, I thought I were going to hear the, like, the LaMelo Balls of the world, the
that's
Trae Youngs or something. Yeah, but to know that it was Kobe who,
Bro, I got the video. I was like, it's crazy because I'm just like, I didn't even know we was going to have this conversation today too. So it's just kind of like, damn, like, it's like, that's kind of surreal. 7, 8-year-olds talking about Kobe, that's like, damn, like.
And I think it'll be that way for a while. Maybe not, younger players saying that Kobe is or was their favorite player. But I think that idea of like people still being excited, about Kobe and what he's kind of meant to the game that's never going to go away. But even with LeBron too. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So another name that I would throw in the GOAT conversation, and you don't have to have that dialogue today. I just didn't want to forget their name. I would say Kareem. I know, like when we say kind of GOATs, and you list those three names, obviously to me they're all up there. But because Kareem was a big, those three guys were wings. I know. I know. Like if you ask 10 different people, who the best player is, you probably get multiple answers, and it would probably be those three guys: Kobe, Mike, and LeBron. But just don't want to forget Kareem, because I mean his career, even going back to UCLA, was just ridiculous.
Of course, college career,
Yeah.
Lakers, what he did. Also, he won a championship in Milwaukee. Also, like his impact, what he had on like that's different from Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. He had that same type of impact LeBron has with our generation when we talk about social justice, social impact. So with Kareem, so that's always going to play a factor as well. Those guys are my top. That's my top four. They're 4 out of 5 players in my top 5 all time. So it's just it's of course, but like to me, it can only be we talk about goals. It can only be LeBron, Kobe, and Michael Jordan. I could just talk about for a basketball standpoint, because those guys you didn't have to get the ball to. They kind of you had to get the ball to Kareem. You had to get the ball to Shaq. You had to get a ball. If you got to give a ball to these guys, like these guys can go out and create their own offense. Yeah. So that's why I'm always going to favor those 3 guys.
Oh yeah, def. I'm not mad at it. And too, like I think we should do like more Mount Rushmore episodes. Like so Slam, we should create graphics like who's on the Mount Rushmore for the Raptors. If we just get segments of just that, like that could, those are it definitely go crazy.
But like I said, like the true goats of skill, like that's a perfect because we know it's Kobe's at the top, but who's the other like 3 or other like 5 if you're doing the top 5? Or for this episode, I think we should talk about to kind of end things off, like who are the top 5 Kobe Bryant disciples? Since it's an 824 episode, who's the top 5 Kobe disciples in the game right now? They can be in the game right now. They could be coming into the NBA maybe, or they can maybe be in the past. Whatever you want to go with. But who are the top 5 Kobe Bryant disciples?
Top 5 Kobe Bryant disciples, I would say off rip, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum. I mean, I'll throw DeMar in there. Shout out to the midi.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi. I have a 5th one, but I'm trying to make sure I don't forget somebody. But I'm gonna say the 5th name. But so if you have someone else, please feel free to let me know. Okay. Paul George.
Paul George. Okay.
I mean, Luka came to mind, but I was gonna say
he's more LeBron, and kind of Harden. He's more kind of like LeBron and Harden in a way. I would say that's a great list. I would say top 5 Kobe Bryant disciples to me, probably. There's no order. I can't really think of an order off the top, really. Yeah. But just like DeMar DeRozan, Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, and a guy I'm surprised that the most skilled point guard in history in the game, in my opinion, Kyrie Irving has to be on that list. When we talk about a Kobe Bryant disciple, he's close. He's maybe closer than a lot of these guys. People may not, because his handle is so crazy, but like just skill set wise, when your skill is that crazy and that's similar to Kobe Bryant, you got to be a Kobe Bryant disciple. So Kyrie, and my 5th one, did I say DeMar?
You said DeMar, yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, Kawhi Leonard, definitely.
Kawhi, okay.
And Kawhi Leonard's he's a combo, because he's he plays like a 96 Michael, but he also has that Kobe style when we talk about operating in the second zone, the basketball court, and the fadeaways and stuff like that as well. So,
yeah, I think we had the same list. The only difference was Kyrie and Paul George.
Yeah,
but yeah, definitely heavy on the Kyrie
and
one.
And an honorable mention. Honorable mention. A guy that's gonna be special.
Wait.
Let's go. He's special.
Let him play NBA game first, bro. Let him play NBA game first.
A guy that's gonna be special.
Oh God.
Jalen Green. You heard it here first. Honorable mention. Kobe Bryant disciple. It's coming. It's coming.
And again, bro, I'm not even saying you're wrong. I'm just saying be patient and just wait before we.
These eyes don't lie.
Okay,
these eyes do not lie. Eye test. I'm telling you, he's here. He is here. He is a Kobe Bryant disciple. So we put a list out, make sure on the honorable mention you got Jalen Green, or if you talk about like maybe like past, present, future, that's a good one. We need somebody for the past. We need somebody for the past. Who's a Kobe Bryant disciple that was kind of like maybe played with Kobe, or like maybe came before Kobe in a way, or not before. Kind of.
Yeah,
Like
I'm gonna say
play with
disciple.
Kobe.
Yeah, disciple.
Yeah.
But playing the past with Kobe, or as an opponent or a teammate, could be kind of tough.
There's some guys.
First
out
answer
there.
that comes off my that comes to mind, is T-Mac.
Yeah, in a way. I was kind of thinking that
Yeah,
in a
it's
way.
T-Mac, and I know people have been going crazy to me about like just that argument and just lack of playoff success. But T-Mac has Shaq, this and that. So off rip, first person that comes to mind, T-Mac. I mean,
yeah, T-Mac.
Damn,
I was thinking about that too. It's kind of got to be, and that's T-Mac was T-Mac, Allen Iverson were my favorite two players growing up.
that was going to be the other person I was going to say, AI. But then I'm like, I know obviously they weren't close in height, but
damn,
yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
In the past, probably T-Mac. Who else did Kobe go against?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Go up against.
I guess in a way you can. Here's probably a good one in the past in a way, because he played against. He kind of came after Kobe, but like Dwayne Wade. When we talk about athleticism, when we talk about Dwayne Wade was a mid-range killer as well. Footwork, skill. People underestimate how skilled Dwayne Wade was because he was an uber athletic, specimen. But Dwayne Wade, he may be it. That may be it. If we really,
I'm not mad at it. There's always like
T-Mac
Dwayne Wade and Donovan comparison all the time. But yeah, I'm not mad at the Kobe one.
And I really don't like. Being a Donovan,
what?
I don't really like that Donovan Mitchell D Wade comparison. That's not.
It's I mean it's there. It's out there. If I say it's out there,
it's interesting. But no, maybe it's T-Mac, D Wade, too. Who else?
Bro,
maybe like
there's a video.
Maybe like an Allen Houston.
No. I wouldn't. No.
Allen Houston was a buck. He was a bucket. He was.
He was. No knock at all to Allen Houston. Yeah. No knock at all to Allen Houston. No knock at all. But I wouldn't. Yeah, not Allen. Love him, but I don't think I would. But there's a video of Kobe and T-Mac. I think it was like on the jump or something like that. And someone's asking him like, what would happen if you guys were teammates? And Kobe laughs like, man, that would have been crazy. But T-Mac looks and he's like, for real, like dead ass. That would have been crazy. Yeah. And have those two teammates, two wings that can give you not 30 but 40.
Yeah.
That would have been something special.
It would have been interesting, but you know what, we always had this conversation, like historically, they would have been unstoppable. We've never really seen like two wings really like since like Michael Jordan and Pippen, and then Dwayne Wade and like LeBron. That's the only real like successful like wing tandems that we've really like seen historically. So it would be interesting. Like, I'm not saying they wouldn't have dominated, but it's just kind of like, I don't know if it would be, it's like, because sometimes it's like, you need the ball, I need the ball. It worked well with Pippen because Pippen was more of a facilitator and like, that was Pippen. So
well, I mean, that was supposed to be Kawhi and Paul George.
Yeah.
And not to say they can't do it, but I mean, they'll probably be next up in terms of like,
if they get a ring,
Right. Oh yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said supposed. And, if they, come out and do what they're supposed to do, and obviously Kawhi's injured, but, come playoff time and overall win the chip, got the contract now. So it's like, all right, we're doing. Let's win at least one. It is, I'm not even expecting like 5 or 6, just one.
Oh, it just hit me for the pass.
What?
Vince Carter. That's the one. Because people don't talk about Vince, his pureness and his scoring ability. People talk about Vince Carter as half man, half amazing because the dunk contest and his athleticism. But Vince was a straight up bucket and scorer. Like he was a scorer, kind of a scorer assassin, similar to like a lot of these guys we mentioned. It's Vince Carter, bro. For the past, Vince Carter is more closer to being a Kobe disciple than Tracy McGrady and Dwayne Wade. It's VC. That's the guy. That's the one.
Yeah. And shout out to Vince and AI for that crazy series they had years ago. I'm not mad at Vince. I mean, again, you know, obviously he was more than just a dunker.
Yeah.
You know, it's so unfortunate though. Like when guys are extremely athletic, people only acknowledge that part of their game, and they think that they're just someone that could jump out the gym. The first person that comes to my mind when I hear that though is Zach LaVine. For so long, people were just saying all he is athletic. That's all he can do. He can just jump. He just dunk.
They was never watching. They was never watching.
Yeah.
They don't. You know, they wasn't watching the Bulls because the Bulls were struggling. And it's crazy. We speak of Zach LaVine, who's also can be considered a Kobe disciple as well. It's just crazy because like Zach LaVine was a guy. When you saw him in Minnesota, he was like, yo, he's it. When he was averaging like 20 when he first came into the league. I was like, yo, this guy is it. And people was talking about, oh, he's not that good. He's not that great. And I was telling people for years, I was like, yo, put Zach LaVine with Joel Embiid on in Philly. It's going to be a different art. And people used to say, what? He's not better than Ben Simmons? I was like, yo, Zach LaVine is like that. And then play with the Bulls, you know, then people started noticing, paying attention. And this year he went to the All-Star game. It's like, yo, that's why you got to actually watch and not get caught up in, yo, these guys just putting up empty stats. These guys are just scoring the basketball, contrary to popular belief, is always and will be the most important attribute in the game of basketball. No matter people want to talk about defense, all-around game, passing, analytics, scoring is always, that's what the game of basketball is about. Can you get a bucket? So
going off that, right? This is still a Kobe episode, and we're talking about scoring and getting buckets, and that reminds me, let me ask you something, right? So obviously one of Kobe's top accomplishments, we all know, is scoring 81.
Yeah.
Do you feel that there's any player in the league capable of scoring 81 in one game? And if you could, name 4.
I mean,
name.
Booker scored 70 at 21.
That's one. I'll give you that. Book.
So another one. I mean, it depends because, you know, like James Harden, of course. James Harden got I think a 60-point triple-double. He's another one. It's just like, God damn, did we forget Carmelo Anthony? I'm sorry. When we talk about like past, did we forget Carmelo? Did we forget Carmelo Anthony when we talked about?
No, I mean,
damn. I was just like,
no. That was yeah. But I say, I mean, the list is longer than just like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
But yeah, Melo, we all know. Like I said, we both said it before. Definitely, probably top 3 in terms of players that were able to score at any and all levels.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying. I'm thinking about like
outside of Kevin Durant.
I'm just thinking about disciples when we talk about Kobe. But yeah, like you talk about they can score 81. Devin Booker,
Harden,
James Harden. Shit, I mean,
all right,
Stephen Curry. It's so many guys.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm gonna give you 2. I would say Dame, and I would say Bradley Beal.
Of course.
And I would say those 2 just because when I think about 81 and you know when you go back and look at not just the box score, but opportunity is a big part of even being able to hit that number, right? Mm-hmm. So getting shots up, it's required for that to happen. That's why I kind of want to know, not necessarily the order, but if there really were only 4 options or players in the league with the team constructed around them that they're currently on.
Team.
Yeah, that's why I say James Harden, obviously he's a bucket, duh.
But playing with
Brooklyn.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean?
Team currently constructed, I would still say Devin Booker, even with the team that's currently constructed with Phoenix, because he's still the number 1 scoring option. And then I would say, like you said, Bradley Beal and Dame, I would throw them in there as well. So that's 3. And also I would probably say Trae Young, because Trae Young, Atlanta Hawks are an up-and-coming team, but Trae Young is still that go-to guy. Like, he can get hot and go crazy as well. So I would probably say those 4 players. But you know what's crazy? Not only did Kobe get 81, because people talk about like, yo, like Devin Booker got 70, and it was impressive, and I would love watching, you know, when he did it. But Kobe got 81 and a dub.
Very true.
And a W, you know what I'm saying?
Very true. And I mean, there's a lot of Boston fans out there that, you know, don't want to give credit to that 70-point game and whatnot because, the Suns lost and how Book scored like his
it was fouling,
like his last 10 points and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey, a 70 on your head is a 70 on your head. You call it what it is. You can sit here and say at the end of the day, he did this against NBA players.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he did this in a pro-am game.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do this in no high school gym. He did this on the road in Boston. Didn't get the dub, okay? Yeah. But I'm not going to completely take away the 70 just because of, some garbage points or,
70,
they lost. 70, especially at that age. Especially when it could have been avoided, right? Like, it ain't like Boston said, okay, yeah, go walk, take a lap. All right,
yeah,
you want to shoot a mini?
So you still
like, come
NBA
on now.
Players, like you NBA players at the end of the day, if you have some pride within yourself, you know what I'm saying? It's also a difference when it's just like the game ain't really close. Like Kobe was out scoring 81, not because he necessarily wanted to, but because he had to.
Yeah, he had to.
It's something different that you know what I'm saying? It makes things a little bit different. So yeah, that's here nor there. But this to get into our cap or no cap, and I know I had one last week, but I think this is a special episode. I'm gonna give you another one since it's a Kobe, Mama Slam No Pump Fakes podcast. Cap or no cap, if Kobe was in his prime in today's game, he would score over 100 points and have the all-time NBA single game scoring record in today's game.
It pains me to say this, but cap.
Okay.
Just because 81 points is a lot. 100 is a lot. But I think it would require like a massive amount of fast break opportunities. Like it would require the team around him to be probably even worse than the one he was playing on. It would require him to play also against a team that isn't as much in a half court set kind of thing. If you know what I'm saying? Like it would have to be, everything would have to fall into place for him to score 100. And because
over 100,
yeah, or 100 more. Because if you think about 100, right, unless you're like OD stronger than everyone else on the court, you're gonna have to get up some threes. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, he's had games and moments where he just spazzed from behind the arc. But ultimately, it would have to be on some like, get these shots up. And honestly, I mean, so you mentioned it with the difference between Book and Kobe. Even though Kobe had 81, I don't think he really was hunting for that 81 the same way Book might have been hunting for that 70. And I think in order for you to score 70, you have to hunt for it. Now, obviously, Kobe, Kobe wants to score. You know what I'm saying? Duh. But I don't think he would hunt for 100 unless maybe he got closer to the game and he realized, like, oh, shit, I could really, crack triple digits. Then maybe, regardless of – because also, too, I feel like if you got 100 points and you're close to it, I pray you're close to winning. You know what I'm saying? We joked before on another episode, like, anytime you get that scoring title, it ain't always a good thing. But if you pushing triple digits in one basketball game, some dudes don't even score that in 10. But if you can do that in one, I hope it's a blowout. And if it's a blowout, then it's clip. But
I would say Theus, I definitely, all the points you made are phenomenal and to a T. But I would say no cap. I think and the reason why I would say no cap is because I saw Kobe Bryant as a kid score 81 points in the defensive era of the NBA, when the shit was clogged, the paint was stacked, where it was where you had a center and a power forward like in the paint, you know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, also in the half, that's when it was more of a half court game as well. So if you telling me, regardless of if Kobe Bryant is on a similar team that's decent but not that great in his prime, let's say like after Shaq had left, like one of those teams or whatever. So if you tell me Kobe's on a team like that, kind of like a Bradley Beal situation, like this team Bradley Beal's going to be on right now with like Kyle Kuzma, Spencer Dinwiddie, a team that's like that, and Kobe Bryant's on that team. And we're in the modern day basketball era where, you know what? As great as Kobe was, Kobe can score at all three levels. Kobe will be forced to take more threes. And Kobe, as a hard worker and as dedicated to his craft, he's going to become a better three-point shooter and a three-point scorer, and percentages are going to go up. So if you're telling me, like, if it's one guy that can do it, that scored 81 points in a half-court defensive era, and you place him to this analytics, space to the floor, fast break opportunities, more threes every possession. I think Kobe, he may do it twice. he may damn near just score 100 points. Bro, he may score 100 points in 2 times in the season, bro. But that's how crazy he was scoring, bro.
Scoring 40 in the league is hard.
Of course.
Scoring 50 in the league is difficult. You know, and I think Kobe definitely like made it look easy. You know what I'm saying? In terms of like, all right, you know, it's Kobe.
Yeah,
of course he's gonna go off. But 100 is a lot of points, bro. That is a lot. Teams sometimes don't even score that.
Bro, team scoring the average team is scoring 118 points, 120 points. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm not saying they never do, but I mean, of course, there's ball games where teams don't finish. Right? 12 dudes don't finish with 100 points.
Yeah, not really in this era. I can't remember the last time.
It's not common. It's not common. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it happens every day, but you know, it's also not something that would, you know, surprise me.
Bro, we got Luka and James. James Harden had like a 60-point triple double, and you know, Kobe could pass the ball, but Kobe ain't that, and that wasn't his. You know, we know what Kobe was about. So it's just imagine Kobe with that opportunity, like, damn, like with this spacing, and it's just kind of like it's Kobe, so he gonna do what the hell he wants to do. Like I said, I think it's no cap, bro. I think Kobe would score 100 points or more in the modern day game, and to be honest, I think it may happen more than once. So it's a good argument, man. We gonna have to throw this on Slam or throw this on a poll, bro, because this definitely is a fire conversation. So
no, facts. I'm with it. But yeah, again, y'all, you know, A24, entire episode as a whole, dedicated to the one and only Black Mamba. This one's for you, man, and shout out to all basketball fans. It's not just a Kobe fan and your loyalty to his overall career, but
yeah, true basketball fans, and
exactly.
Rest in peace, and you know we're still praying for his family. And yeah, it's
facts.
Yeah,
facts. Mamba mentality, forever. A24. Peace, y'all. What's up, y'all? It's Theus McBee. Make sure you go follow No Pump Fakes on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to your podcasts.